Today, we are sponsored by the Airway Kingdom Network. Feel free to check out the following content: What's Up Bro, Three Amigos, and J&J Productions. Feel free to check out those great content today.
Network 3000 presents.
Hello everyone, I'm Jeremy here, and welcome to the next episode of the 3000 Hangouts here for today. And today is March 26th, 2026. And today we have a great interview with my friend um, Raul, who is a former Wheel of Fortune contestant and the host of the podcast Come On Big Money, which is a Wheel of Fortune podcast for all of the Wheel of Fortune fans out there. And it's going to be a good one. And I hope you all enjoy this episode of the 3000 Hangouts right now. All right, everyone, it is now time for our next interview here on the Network 3000 YouTube page. Please welcome the host of the Come On Make Money podcast, Rob B. How you doing, Rob?
I'm well. How are you doing, David? Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. And so tell us, other than the podcast, what do you do for a living?
What do I do on the podcast?
For a living, other than the podcast. Like, do you have a part-time job outside the podcast or a full-time job?
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, for some reason I'm kind of having a little bit of struggle trying to hear you, but yeah. So before I ever did the podcast, I was a K-12 teacher. So I started my career like back in like early like 2010s, and I was a fifth grade teacher. And then just kind of like continued on from education, like teaching fourth grade, teaching sixth grade, becoming an instructional coach, becoming, working for this educational company and teaching teachers. And so it's was definitely like the passion of my life during that time in my life. But yeah, the podcast, it started relatively new, about a little bit over a year ago. About like a year and a half like in. And yeah, definitely miss it. And I wouldn't say like I wouldn't go back into teaching, but for right now, just taking a little bit of a break, being with my son, and enjoying all the different passion projects that I've been working on.
That's good. And how did it get started on the Come On Big Money podcast?
Yeah, so the Come On Big Money podcast was like really, it just all started after I went on Wheel of Fortune. Like I had the best time. Like it wasn't a goal of mine to do it for like, ever since I was a little kid, because that's oftentimes something that you'll hear from former contestants. Like they've been wanting to be on the show since they were like 3 years old or 4 years old or whatever. For me, it started, relatively new, where I went on the show and I made a lot of friends. And I don't think that many people know about this, where after you go into Wheel of Fortune, there's like a really big alumni, former contestant community. Like there's like Facebook groups, and can interact with people on Instagram and all that different stuff. And I developed so many friendships that I wanted to like be able to talk with my friends throughout the year, because there's an event that we do once a year in the summer where we get together and we compete in this like Wheel of Fortune slot machine tournament. And it's the best time. Like it really is. It's so much fun. And I've made so many friends that way. And I just wanted to keep those friendships going on. And the starting the podcast was kind of a way to be able to do that, but also to be able to kind of continue on Wheel of Fortune. Because I'll admit, after I was on Wheel of Fortune, I didn't really watch Wheel of Fortune a whole lot. Like I was like, okay, I did what I did, and I was successful and I had a great time. But then I just stopped watching. And for me,
Mhm.
like watching Wheel of Fortune is fun. I
Yeah.
absolutely love Wheel of Fortune. It is still one of my favorite shows. But one of my favorite things to do is to watch Wheel of Fortune with other people, whether it be family,
Uh,
whether it be friends. And so that's why we started with the podcast. We've been doing a live stream every Wednesday so I can be able to
oh.
watch with other people, and then we'll talk about what's going on. So even yesterday we were talking about how, the contestant that ended up winning, his name was Daniel, how he won like right in the very end. And it was really cool to be able to talk with other people and enjoy it and bond. So yeah, it started off just by it's a passion project, but it started off by just wanting to maintain those friendships that I've made ever since I was on Wheel of Fortune.
And would like to explain what any prizes or cash you won on there?
Yeah, so I won a trip to Barbados. I was like, I don't know, like 5 to 6, maybe even 7 nights, and I won a decent amount of cash. I ended up going into the bonus round, and I won $45,000 just mainly in just the bonus round. And
Okay.
to be honest, like if anyone's seen my episode, which you probably shouldn't, like it's not like that great of an episode. Like no one won $1 million. There wasn't like really big viral moments. But if you saw my episode, you would have seen where I was going against some ladies who were crushing it. They were doing incredibly well,
Uh,
and I wasn't getting any of the puzzles and until it got to the prize puzzle round. And so I had a big old donut hole in how much money I had. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to end this episode winning $0. I'm going to leave with $1,000 minimum, and I'm going to
yeah.
get made fun of by everyone on the internet, my friends, my family. And so I was lucky enough to be able to win the prize puzzle round to give myself that trip to Barbados, a little bit of cash around, I think like $2,000 or so, nothing crazy. And
Yeah.
I was able to hold on to the lead. And with that lead, I was able to get that $45,000 extra, $1,000 in the bonus round. And I would consider myself like one of the luckiest contestants because really that doesn't happen a whole lot. More often than not, you have to win, at least two puzzles most of the time, including the prize puzzle round, in order to do well. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I'm so ready to like go back onto Wheel of Fortune, but we will continue to cross our fingers until that day comes again.
Of course. And uh, what day was that episode from? Because I tried to look for it and I couldn't find the episode myself. But what day? What did it air?
Yeah, so it aired a few years ago. I think it was what the 3 year anniversary passed not too long ago. So it was January 24th, 2023. So
Okay.
it was a few days close to my wife's birthday, and so I wanted to make sure we were celebrating my wife's birthday, but I
Yeah.
also didn't I wanted to be able to have that time to be able to enjoy, the episode. So, like, we a lot of things happened during that time, so yeah,
Okay.
late January.
Okay. And how did you get picked to be the contestant on Fortune that day?
I mean, I have a great personality, right? No, I'm just kidding. No, I honestly I don't know. I would assume that it's probably because I showed up to the auditions with like high energy. I did my homework. I tried doing my best in
Yeah.
solving the puzzles. But it wasn't my first time on trying to get on the show. Like the year before I got on, I applied with my wife. We put in separate applications, but we made our videos and it was radio silence, David. Like I didn't hear
Mm.
anything. Not a single producer contacted me in that whole year. And so I decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and audition again. And I asked my wife, like, hey, do you want to go ahead and do it again? And she's like, no, I'm good. I just wanted to do it the one time. And so I decided, well, it's still a goal of mine. I'm going to go ahead and give it another shot, give it a go and see what happens. And I I don't know if this helps, dude, but I put in my application, put in my video, I put in like a decent amount of editing work on it. And
Yeah.
I don't know if you're allowed to do this, but I like DM'd Pat Sajak, Vanna White,
Oh,
Maggie Sajak, and I sent them the video, and I'm like, choose me. Like this is like it's like a 1 minute video. I'm like, I'm ready to be on the show, and I kid you not, like maybe a day, 2, 3 days max, I got an email from one of the Sony um, producers of saying like, hey, we loved your application. We would love to have you audition for the show and see if you're able to make it to the next step. So I don't know if that necessarily helped at all. Maybe it could have been coincidence, but
yeah,
I'm so happy it ended up working out. And then yeah, during the audition, I I read through like all the different forums of like Wheel of Fortune forums, like the buy val boards, and a lot of people that have gone on the show will kind of share their experience. And one thing that I did in terms of preparation to get on the show was um, there was advice to dress the part. So like I wasn't in like a regular t-shirt in my Zoom interview. I was full up suit, like I had a suit and tie. Like I wanted the producers to not like imagine me being on the show. Like, how would he be? No, I wanted them to see me like as if I were to be on this show. And so I felt like that maybe got me a little bit of a leg up over the two other contestants that were in that same audition room. Um, and then yeah, just trying to just schmooze, be very positive, very energetic, excited. Like if you're just very, monotone and straight face, I don't think the producers are going to really want to take someone like that onto a nationalized television show. And then the
yeah,
other thing is just, yeah, doing your homework. If you can be able to, try as best you can to get the toss ups or try to be able to do the puzzles that they have you do. I was looking at things like this here, like the Wheel of Fortune calendar, and just trying to see, okay, what are ways and how I can be able to piece different parts of words together to come up with the answer to a Wheel of Fortune puzzle. So
mhm,
those are my guesses, but I'm not 100% sure of what the producers saw in me. But
yeah.
yeah, so that's my answer.
And how much did you practice before you got on the show?
It's kind of hard to be able to like quantify it because it's like I feel like it was so many hours. I was
Mhm,
on that Wheel of Fortune app like nobody's business. I had the video game that would be competing against like
yeah,
the computer, and the computer is not the greatest like to be able to compete against. Like sometimes I would have my wife play along with me if she
uh-huh,
like entertained the idea. Um, but in terms of like practicing, I know I have put in like at least triple digits number of hours in it. And the
uh,
the other thing that they don't really tell you, and when you get selected to be on the show, is I got like little notice. I got like a week's notice, and they called me and
mm,
they said, "Hey, we need you in Culver City, California, in about a week, and you need to drop everything." And so as soon as they gave me that information, I'm like, "Okay, I am preparing as much as I can." I had the Wheel of Fortune calendar, I have the board game, I have the all the different things to try to get you to uh, get ready for the show. I was watching so many episodes, past episodes, and asking advice of former contestants, just random strangers who I didn't know back then that I do know now. And I feel like it made a difference in my preparation. But I think the biggest preparation to get ready for the show is just being a fan and just religiously watching the show for like ever since like you were a kid or like for a long period of time. Cause I think from when I decided to like had the dreams of being on the show, it was about like I would say like around 2020,
mhm.
and it took me for like early 2023 to be actually have my episode air. So I was like practicing quite a bit in that 3-year time span, but before that, no idea of ever wanting to be on a game show before.
And, uh, if you were to be a contestant again, is there a prize that would you like to win the most that you didn't got, no, you didn't get, the last time you were on that you would like to try for the second time?
Yeah, dude, David, you are speaking my love language right now. Like I have the dream. Like, who's not going to say like the $1 million grand prize? Like, I would
Yeah,
absolutely love that. I mean, I have a podcast called "Come On Big Money." I love to see people winning tons of money, big trips. If I were to take the money out of it, like obviously the hundred or the $1 million grand prize or the $100,000 grand prize,
yeah,
top of the list, tippy top of the list. But if I were to say a trip, this past week on Wheel of Fortune was the National Geographic Expeditions like Lindblad week. Those prizes are like the highest prizes that you see all season. There was a trip to Antarctica that was worth over $38,000. Yeah, I would definitely love that. There was a trip to Charles Darwin's Galapagos Islands. I think that was worth like 35 or $34,000. So like a trip with that valuation, that's like many, many days, would absolutely love it. Now, with if I were not to be like on the National Geographic week, I think in a general like area of the world, I already went to the Caribbean by going to Barbados. I would love somewhere like in Europe, like maybe a Scotland, maybe an Ireland, maybe a Spain, a Germany, a France, like those types of countries that I've never been to before. I would absolutely love to go there. So, tippy top of the list, give me that millie, 100,000, those Antarctica trips, but anything like in Europe, I would absolutely, and literally anywhere. Like I'd be chomping at the bit to go anywhere, of any
Yeah,
prize. So if you're saying if I were to be on Wheel of Fortune again, like that's just the dream. So there's not a single contestant that I've met that wouldn't want to go back and wouldn't want to win again more big money.
absolutely. And um, when you were on the first time, what was the feedback that you got after it aired? I forgot what year that was, but whenever it was, what was the feedback like?
Like feedback from like people that I knew.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, so I mean, everyone was just so excited. Like when it was first announced that I was going to be on Wheel of Fortune, everyone that I knew and people that I didn't know were tuning in. So at the time, I was teaching sixth grade in Hawaii, and all of my students and parents and fellow teachers, they all knew and they were super excited. But I think my school like put up a post like on their school Instagram account, and literally,
Uh,
like, there's like kindergartners that are like, "Are you the guy that's on Wheel of Fortune?" And there's like, a random parent of a kid in fourth grade that are like, "I have no idea who they are," and they're coming up and they're super excited. And so after the episode, I had just even more of that of people just saying congratulations. I had a couple kids that were like, "Can we have some money?" But it was just a lot of fun. And in terms of
yeah,
reactions, people were just so jazzed up that my episode was kind of like a Cinderella story of like I was down in the dumps, had $0. I came from behind, like barely squeaked a win, and then I
yeah,
had like the success at the very end. And so that the reaction from people was just like the cherry on top of the sundae that was the experience of being on Wheel of Fortune. So people were just so positive. I don't think I really had like any negative, feedback from anyone. I mean, granted, like if you go on the internet, you'll find someone talking negative or
yeah.
literally about anything. But I would say, yeah, 99.99999% of the time was just positive.
That's a good thing. And what year did that? What year did that episode air again?
It was in 2023, January of 2023.
Okay, so you got to see Pat Sajak before he retired, and
Yeah.
so what was he and Vanna White and perhaps Maggie were like behind the scenes, during breaks and stuff.
Yeah, so I didn't see Maggie. Maggie didn't appear on our week. I would have loved to be able to talk with Maggie because Maggie just seems like the best personality and just like super excitable, and
Mhm.
she's a lot of fun. But I'll start off with Vanna White. I think every single Wheel of Fortune contestant has kind of the similar experience of when they're getting prepped for the show. Vanna White, like when we're getting our hair and makeup done, which this face needs a ton of makeup to get camera ready. Uh, we have Vanna White just shows up out of nowhere, and she doesn't show up like looking like Vanna White that you see on the show. She shows up just like a normal person, like zero makeup, kind of in
Yeah.
sweatpants, and she just like says like, "Hey, like good luck with with everyone, win lots of money, buy those vowels." And so she was just so down to earth. She did not seem like she was a type of person that was, you know, um, kind of treating herself better than everyone else or holding herself
Mhm.
to or standing on a pedestal above everyone else. Like she was just the sweetest person. And I wish I had more time with Vanna.
Mhm.
Um, for Pat, I was lucky enough that I was in the red spot. So hashtag Team Red. I love Team Red.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
right next to Pat Sajak. And so for Pat, it's a little bit of a different story. You don't see Pat really ever unless there's cameras that are ready to go ahead and start firing and
Yeah,
wiring. And I understand, like, he's been doing this show for quite some time.
yeah,
And but Pat Sajak, he was also just a ton of fun. He is normal, like, self-deprecating humor. He'll poke fun at himself. Like, I made a in my Wheel of Fortune introduction, when I was talking about myself, I mentioned how, like, I have a twin brother and we would play pranks on our students, we would play pranks on each other. And so, like, he would just, like, joke with that. And it just made the experience more enjoyable, because
yeah,
I was a nervous wreck just being under those lights. And so, like, when he throws a little bit of a joke, like, it just seems like you're just talking with a regular person. And
yep.
then there was a part where, right when I was doing my bonus round spin, I was, like, jumping up and down. And I have this on my Instagram account. For those that want to watch, it's my handle is the bow tie teacher underscore. And Pat Sajak's like, Raul's, like, very, very cold. Like, and I'm like, yeah, it's incredibly cold here. And he points to Vanna. He's like, well, how do you think Vanna feels? And I tell him, like, well, you should offer your jacket. And it's like, well, then I would be cold. Like, plus we also make, extra money hanging meat here in the studio. So, like, it just
Uh,
makes it so much fun to be able to talk about it. And then at the very end of the episode, he mentions how he gave the jacket to Vanna, and he's like, okay, yeah, you can enjoy the jacket, just don't ask for my Spanx. And that was just like a funny moment, imagining Pat Sajak and Spanx. And then at the very, very end, with when the credits are rolling and Pat Sajak and Vanna White are in front of the camera, and the person who won the main game is standing in between them, they were also just a lot of fun. Like, we were just joking around a little bit. And I remember one thing that I asked Pat Sajak at the during those ending credits scene was like, will you guys do you guys ever think about bringing Wheel of Fortune to on-site locations? Like, I remember Wheel of Fortune used to be in
yeah,
Vegas. They used to be in Hawaii. Like, do you guys ever plan on bringing, Wheel of Fortune again? And he was like, well, not really. I think because of COVID, we're more likely just going to be staying here. But also, when you go to Hawaii, they're very strict about, like, the natural land there, that if you pick up a rock, you got to put that rock in the exact same spot.
uh,
So it makes it difficult for a production standpoint. But yeah, he was just a lot of fun, and just joking around. And then Vanna White was just, yeah, just as
yeah.
lovely as can be.
What about Tim Thorne as well? I got to interview him last year myself.
Yeah, and I recall seeing your interview, David, and that actually
Oh, okay.
inspired me to also interview Jim Thornton. And I remember when all of the episodes were done, because in Wheel of Fortune, they air about, or they tape 6 episodes, 5, 6 episodes in a single day. And so at the very end of the
Yeah.
day, everyone just goes home. And Jim Thornton, just like everyone else, was like, yeah, he's heading out. And I was able to get a picture with him, and he was very gracious with his time. And he's like the sweetest person, because I remember
Yeah.
interviewing him. And also in your interview, he is just so kind. Like, he reminds me
Yeah.
as like a kind of like a Mr. Fred Rogers, like from Rogers Neighborhood. Um, or like a Bob Ross. He is just so kind, so sweet. He is very quick with his puns and his jokes. And in between the different episodes that we're taping, like, he'll go in with the audience and he'll share his kind of stand-up routine. And so he's like the uncle that you never have, that you wish you have. And yeah, he's the best. I absolutely love Jim Thornton.
100%. Um, as a Wheel of Fortune fan yourself, are you a fan of Ryan Seacrest since he took over from Pat Sajak?
Yeah, great question, David. When it first was announced, man, I was ready to be the host of Wheel of Fortune. I think every
Uh,
single former contestant was like, "Could we do what Jeopardy did?" Right? Jeopardy, they took a former contestant and made them host in Ken Jennings. I'm like, can they do that for Wheel of Fortune? I was so, like, I wanted to, like, that was the dream of all dreams. But
yeah.
I think when Ryan Seacrest was announced, I was kind of, at first I was in shock. I'm like, wait,
Mhm.
what? Ryan Seacrest, like, there's no trial date like what they did with Jeopardy.
It's
They're just
yeah,
giving him the job, right? And at first, I'm like, I don't know if I see Ryan Seacrest in doing it because he's very much synonymous with American Idol, Dick Clark's Rockin' New Eve, and like all the other like hosting gigs that he does.
radio.
Yeah, exactly. And so I wasn't the biggest fan, but I think like the first week, maybe first 2 weeks, dude, I was loving the energy that Ryan Seacrest was bringing to the show. It's not the same type of what we've seen from Pat Sajak for decades, but I love seeing Ryan Seacrest. In fact, I have like I have a huge
Oh,
head cutout of him. That's how much I love Ryan Seacrest. Like I think he's doing such a great job, and I'm not saying that he's perfect at the show. There's definitely things that he can improve on, like with anyone else. But he's just bringing like more like youthful energy and excitement to the show. Sometimes I feel like he can go a little bit too far, and so it's interesting that I feel like he's still trying to find his footing with the show. But he's only what, like a year and a half in.
yeah,
I feel like it can only get better from here, and so he has definitely won me over very early on into his time on Wheel of Fortune,
yeah,
and
for
I
sure.
can only imagine it's going to get better from here.
I agree. And I mean, what's your take about a bunch of people hating on Ryan Seacrest for the reason of him on being on everything, but the thing is like I haven't seen him do anything wrong, like that got him in trouble or anything because you know I just see people hating on Ryan Seacrest the one I just don't get it.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna have people that hate anything. Like, I could very well give $10 million to like a charity, and you'll have people that will be hating on that. Like, just like people that are in
Yeah,
need getting money. Like, people will hate on like the fact that like the sky is blue. Like, they will just yell into the clouds. And I think you have those certain people that oftentimes like negativity or the things that's the type of information that spreads. The other people are I would very much consider people that are not very the biggest fans of change, right? Like they're so
yeah,
used to Pat Sajak being the host, like they probably have gone their entire lives of seeing Wheel of Fortune with one particular host, unless like they were really early on with like the Chuck Woolery days or like the other hosts that were had like very
yeah,
small times as hosts. I can imagine there's just people that they don't like the change. And then also sometimes Ryan Seacrest can be a little silly, right? Like he's diving onto like wheels of cheese, he's getting bench pressed, he's like
Ye-
breakdancing. And so I can imagine there's certain type of people that just doesn't mix well with. And so
yeah,
for those people, like I you like what you like, right? Like there's not
yeah,
always going to be 100% of the stuff that you're going to enjoy, but I say overall, like I am such a big fan of Ryan Seacrest as host. I don't like foresee him like ever like changing, going away from the show and someone being on. Like I he's host and he's going to be the host for quite some time. And for those people
yeah,
that are not the biggest fans, Wheel of Fortune at the end of the day is still the same game, right?
yeah,
And Ryan Seacrest will make an appearance at the end. He'll make an appearance at the beginning. He'll make appearance, in between those commercial breaks. But for the most part, the game is essentially still the same. So I would
yep,
say just have like a, I don't know, more positive outlook when you watch it, instead of just thinking about the negatives. Because there are people that just straight up hate for no good reason, and I'm like, you know what?
yeah,
That's not the way to kind of go about life. Just be more positive and enjoy it.
yeah. And also, like a lot of people did not like Pat Sajak as well, and I saw uh, some people somewhere on online that they said, "Oh, maybe Ben White is talking with Ryan Seacrest more because Pat Sajak was, mean or something." That just like, uh, well, that's I mean, did you not watch the beginning, the middle, or the end of the show? I mean, the time Pat Sajak was on, so it's like, they just, you know, uh, I just I also see a lot of Game Show fans like on Price is Right Facebook groups that complain about everything as well. So it's just like if you're a fan If you don't like something on the show, then just don't watch it. That's just my thing.
Yeah, and even with The Price is Right, there were people out with their pitchforks thinking that Drew Carey is going to be the host, and a lot of those same people are the ones that love Drew Carey now,
Yeah.
right? So it's interesting how that goes about, but yeah, completely agree with you,
Mhm.
David.
So, when you first started watching game shows, Wheel of Fortune has been your favorite all-time game show, right?
I would say as a game, I was never really like big into game shows. Like I was like a casual fan, like as a kid, and
Yeah.
then also growing up. But I would say, I mean, Wheel of Fortune is like the one thing that I felt like I could do. Like, you know, a kid can watch the show and call a letter. An adult can do the same thing.
Yeah.
I love watching Jeopardy, but there's not a sliver of a chance of me being able to compete on an episode of Jeopardy.
Yeah.
There are times where like I can get like 5 answers like in a round and I feel like I'm on top. I feel like I'm the smartest person in the world. But if I were to actually be on the show and compete, man, I would be on the struggle bus. Um
Yeah.
I as growing up, I feel like if you ever who wasn't ever like sick, stayed home from school and like
Price is
watched an episode of Price is Right. Like that was like the memories that you had, like your little soup and you had your, I remember having like 7 Up and I would just be watching it and just be calling out the prices like anyone else and just thinking like, yeah, I am the shiz when I was like the closest person to like the actual
Yeah.
retail price. So yeah, I think like the trinity of those three were definitely big ones there. I don't know if you can count, or maybe you can like the Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Like that was definitely something that I would dream about going on, or like
Yeah.
Family Feud. Just having just like some fun banter. Um, and I
Mhm.
don't know if you can necessarily include the survivors of the world because that's not necessarily like a game show. I would kind of consider that
Yeah.
more of like reality TV. But I'm a huge fan of Survivor, so maybe that might be
Okay.
like the next thing that I end up looking into. But yeah, Wheel of Fortune has always been the most accessible game show,
Yeah.
at least for me, because who can't just say a letter and try to scream the answer to their television like with everyone else.
Have you thought about doing a Jeopardy podcast as well? Because it's right. No, it's like the brother of Wheel of Fortune or something like that. People say all the time. So have you thought about doing that too?
To be honest, no, because like I feel like I have doing this podcast for Wheel of Fortune, it has definitely taken quite a bit of time, and I don't want to be ever in a point where I'm spreading myself too thin of doing the podcast, but like not also being there for like my wife, my
Yeah.
son, my family. So for right now, it is just Wheel of Fortune. And Come On Big Money is like definitely a saying that you say
Yeah.
in Wheel of Fortune. So it's not something that you can't often say with Jeopardy, but who knows? Like I'll never say never. But
Hmm.
that would be pretty cool because I'm a big fan of Jeopardy. I'm a big fan of Ken Jennings. I'm a big fan of like the
It's been
Jeopardy
great.
world. It's different from Wheel of Fortune, obviously, because you can have people that are returning and they create their own like pop culture status. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, of course. And uh, on your Real Fortune podcast, who are some of the favorite people that you interviewed on your show, other than Tim Thornton, which we already talked about, but any others that are your favorite that you interviewed?
Oh man, David, you're gonna get me in trouble here. Honestly, like I'm gonna give you the political answer. I've loved everyone that I've had on the podcast for like different reasons, right? Like I have people that that have had viral moments like Emile De Leon. I've had the people that didn't win a whole lot, but like are great personalities like Eugene Byun. I've had so many people that have been so gracious with their time of coming on to the podcast and just talking about our favorite game show. And it's just I don't know, it's been honestly a joy. Like, don't get me wrong, like this is definitely like there's definitely hard work as you know, David, in doing your podcast. Like it's not just an easy thing. You just go ahead and hit
Yeah.
record and then you're done, right? There's
Mhm.
there's a lot of things of coordinating people and then doing the homework and doing the editing and all that stuff. But
Mhm.
it has been it has like filled up my cup so much of like all of the different people that have been on. Like in even for like this coming week, I have Veronica Blaustein that was on last season, and she's coming on, and she's just a great time. And then next week, I'm going to be having Chorsey, who was on uh, earlier this season in season 43, and he is just I absolutely love his story and being able to interact with him on social media. So I only can imagine just the amount of people that are yet to come for those friendships to be made,
Yeah,
moving forward. But it's so hard. It's like trying to choose your favorite child. Like, who is your
yeah,
favorite people that you've talked with? Because like I'm like a person that's like, I'm very easy to laugh. Like, you can say like a joke that's not necessarily the greatest. I'm most likely gonna laugh because I don't know. I got like these laugh lines here on my face because that's just my natural like disposition. Sure, I can be grumpy at times, definitely a part of me, but I try to like be more on the positive side. And so
yes,
every
for
single
sure.
person that I've had on, and we're coming close to like I think 70 episodes, and we haven't had a guest per episode, and sometimes we've had two guests per episode.
Yeah,
But it's so hard to be able to tell. And I wish I had like a list of people, because it's like one of those things where like someone wins
right.
an Academy Award and they have to share all the people that they're grateful for. There's so many people. Every single
Yeah,
person who has taken the time to be on the podcast, I am just so appreciative, and I feel blessed that they were even interested in wanting to do it, and the conversations that we've had, I've just so much enjoyed. Yeah.
yeah. Is there any goals of you want to interview in the future that you haven't yet, like from the Wheel
Oh,
of Fortune store or whoever?
yeah, like I would love to interview, the main people of Wheel of Fortune. I would love to interview Pat Sajak. I would love to interview
Yeah,
Ryan Seacrest. I would love to interview Maggie Sajak and Vanna White. Vanna White's I could think at the top.
yeah.
I was able to interview Jim Thornton and Rich Fields, who was very
I
well
saw your
known
Richfield.
for.
I saw your Richfield's interview. That was a
Yeah,
good one.
and he's the best, and a lot of people know him from The Price is Right, but a lot of people don't know that. Yeah, he like for a few episodes he was actually with Wheel of Fortune,
Yep.
and I love just getting to know people's stories. Like, above all, like even if this wasn't about Wheel of Fortune, I just love hearing people's stories of where they've come from, what they have done, where they're planning to go. I feel very connected when I have these types of conversations, even like with talking with you, of getting to know you a little bit better.
Yeah.
It just That's one of the things that definitely fills my bucket. And so, yeah, out of all the other people, Maggie, Pat, Ryan, Vanna, not necessarily in that order, because they're all awesome. I would love to be able to chat with next on the podcast.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Um, how did you get yourself prepared for each episode you record? Because I don't know what time you post your shows on Saturdays, but I know you post on Saturdays. So, how do you get yourself prepared for each episode for you to record, and how often do you usually do the interviews as well?
Yeah, so for the podcast part, because again, there's the podcast part, and then there's the live streams that we do. And I'll stick first with the podcast.
Yeah,
The podcast part, I normally record after Friday's Wheel of Fortune airs.
yeah,
And so the homework behind that is I'll watch an episode, I'll type, I'll type in like the notes app of, what are the things that I found notable in that episode? Good, bad, somewhere in between. And then from there, I'll go ahead and coordinate with whoever I'm with of, okay, we're going to be recording on this day at this time. And yeah, just get ready with that. And then normally in our podcast format is we have like a top 5 moments that have happened in Wheel of Fortune. We'll start with 5 and work our way down to our number 1 moment. And I feel like I have it, pretty down pat because I've done it so many times.
hmm,
But trying to get other people that haven't done the podcast, like there's a little bit of work involved there. And then from that point, when we do record, just making sure that we're all on. I do my podcast on a site called Riverside, and so we'll make sure that everyone's audio, video is working, and then we'll go ahead and have the fun stuff. We'll go ahead and record. After I'm done recording, I'll go ahead and edit the podcast. I'll go ahead and include either, clips or photos from Wheel of Fortune to make sure that those that are listening or mainly watching the podcast, they can be able to follow along, and maybe they might not remember all the contestants throughout the week, but if I show like a picture there and we're talking about them, maybe it might jog their memory. And then
Yeah.
from there, I'll go ahead and post. And normally I post 8 a.m. Central Time on Saturday morning. Doesn't always happen that way. Sometimes, we do a little bit earlier. Sometimes, based on my schedule, it doesn't always work out that way because I really try to maximize family time for the
Yeah.
weekends. Just really just making sure that I'm intentionally with my wife and my son. Sometimes, with the podcast, it doesn't always work out that way. But I try to preserve that time. So it would be a lot easier, I think, for me and for my fellow contestants that come onto the podcast to just do it on, Saturday morning and then do the editing. But then that takes so much time away from my loved ones. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that is essentially the process there.
And what time do you air the episodes on Saturdays?
8 a.m. Central, so
Okay.
9 a.m. Eastern.
Okay. And you don't do any episodes during the summertime when Wheel of Fortune is off the air for the summer.
Yeah, so I've done a couple. I'm not a whole lot. So last off season, I included, an episode or two. There was one where I had like a conspiracy theory of like who is going to be like the latest $1 million winner of Wheel of Fortune. But I haven't done a whole lot. But I do have some ideas of something to do for this upcoming off season for the summer. Whether if
Okay.
they actually happen or not, we'll see what happens. But uh, the main thing that I've been doing aside from those Saturday postings that I mentioned earlier are the live stream watch along.
Hmm.
So every Wednesday when Wheel of Fortune airs on like the East
Yeah.
Coast or Central, um, I'll go live, and anyone that wants to join in, we'll go ahead and talk about Wheel of Fortune. And so that's been a fun way to be able to connect with other wheel watchers and word nerds. And yeah, that's been just a great time. So we might maybe do something like that for the next off season in the summertime. Like maybe I'll go ahead and watch, the Celebrity Wheel of Fortune episodes, or maybe we'll go ahead
Oh
and
yeah.
have like a forum where we talk about the generic questions that relates to Wheel of Fortune. But right now it's a wait and see to see what we'll be doing for the off season. But every single Saturday, for the season, we'll put out the podcast. Every single Wednesday, we'll do the live stream.
Okay. And is there anything from your Wheel of Fortune connection that you want to show us?
Say that one more time.
Is there anything from your Wheel of Fortune connection that you want to show us?
The
You know,
collection.
yeah,
I
your Wheel of
have
Fortune.
I have this picture right here. I don't know if you guys can be able to see this here. Um, it's a picture of me jumping up and down when I won my bonus round. And so Pat Sajak is holding up the $45,000 wedge. Um,
Yeah.
or yeah, wedge, not wedge, the envelope. And in the bottom left-hand corner, I was actually able to get Pat Sajak to sign it. And so he wrote,
Okay.
Raul, you were great, and he signed it with his signature. And I didn't get that when I was on Wheel of Fortune because I had to print this after the fact. What I did was I knew that Pat Sajak was like every single summer he'll perform a play with his buddy Joe Moore, who's actually a local anchor in Oahu. And so my son and I, we went to his show. We loved it. We had this like big sign that said like, Pat, thank you for the memories. And we were able to do like this like meet and greet. And I
Uh,
had this picture printed out, and I asked if he was able to sign it, and he signed it. And so this is probably one of my favorite things um about my experience on Wheel of Fortune. The other thing is my name tag back here.
yeah.
That's the one that I wore on the episode has always been great here. Yeah, I mean I have like the Funko Pops that I'm always I love having. I have a Sheldon here, but it's not like the actual Sheldon. I just found like a random like
Uh-huh.
ceramic Dalmatian like on Amazon. But
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Wheel of Fortune ever since I was, on the show or preparing for the show. But I would say the main thing is that picture there. If the house is burning and I have to, go ahead and take out one thing Wheel of Fortune based, it's probably that picture there.
Yeah, yeah. And do you have you ever made because I know people that made the Wheel of Fortune wheels. Have you done any of that before? Make your own Wheel of Fortune wheel.
Have I ever made a Wheel of Fortune wheel? I have not. The only thing that I have close is, and I this is the anything but wheel where we have this wheel. It's just a random Amazon wheel that
Okay.
we spin and then we talk about the questions. But that's the closest thing that I have. I've seen some of those wheels that
Yeah.
people make, from scratch, and they're crazy impressive. There's some really
Yeah.
cool ones that are out there, but I don't think I have the craftsmanship to be able to make one for myself. If I tried to make one, I'm sure it will look god awful. But yeah, if anyone's selling any Wheel of Fortune wheels, I would love to take one and put it on the set here.
Well, there's a lot of them on Etsy or eBay. I think maybe I don't know, but is there anything else you wanted to promote here? And where can they find you on social media?
Yeah, so you can find us on Instagram at Come On Big Money, same handle with YouTube, Come On Big Money. On Facebook, we have a Facebook group that's also same name, Come On Big Money, or you can find me, Raul Villanueva. Yeah, and
And
we also have our podcast not only on YouTube, but we also have it on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Those are the main ones. So if you guys
yeah,
are interested, you love Wheel of Fortune, you love talking about Wheel of Fortune, you love seeing people win big money, then this is the podcast for you.
all right. And uh, what about for your Instagram or any other social medias as well? Or
Yeah,
um,
Instagram, the Come On Big Money is the main one. I do have a personal
okay,
one that's more, kind of like my teaching stuff there. Occasionally, it does have the um, my Wheel of Fortune
yeah,
stuff. That one is the bowtie teacher underscore. So yeah, if you're interested, yeah, feel free to connect. But we would love for people to join in on the journey and talk
yeah,
about Wheel of Fortune, talk about game shows, and yeah, be friends online.
yeah, absolutely. And with that being said, that'll be it for this interview.
Are you looking for the most fun entertainment on YouTube? Then welcome to the Network 3000. We have game shows, vlogs, live streams, podcasts, live shows, sport videos, gaming videos, plus more. Subscribe today. We hope you enjoy the Network 3000 on YouTube.
It's now time for our next jackpot game here on the show. Please welcome Emily. How are you doing tonight?
Pretty good. I am also live streaming this to my Twitch, twitch.tv/CubeExpert42.
You picked 42 for Jackie Robinson, right?
No. It's actually for something else. I want to say it's from the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, The Meaning of Life.
Oh, okay. I see. But are you ready to play Deal or No Deal?
Of course.
All right.
In chat. In my Twitch chat, that's where you can find David on YouTube.
Yes. All right. Here we go. Welcome to Deal or No Deal. To win big at this game, it's going to take a while of guts, a while of luck, and of course, a great sense of timing. So without further ado, let's bring in the cases right now. Before we start the game, please.
Right.
All right, those are the 26 cases. Holding 10 million money inside out of those 26 cases. But since we reached our limit when it regards to adding more jackpots in this series, we have to do $50 million again.
Whoa. Wow. Look at all those zeros.
We have to do $50 million from now on until somebody wins the jackpot. All the way down to 1 penny. And pick a case for the game now.
I'm gonna go with 13. Lucky number 13. Because
Okay?
as of right now, as we're recording or live streaming this, it is Friday the 13th.
That's up and sucking to you. And that's, of course, if you keep a case for the entire game, which, no matter what the jackpot is to play, my advice is keep going at it until something happens. Pick your 6 cases now.
Alright. 9, 16, 25, 1, 2, 4.
Let's start with number 9. $25,000.
I dropped something.
Number 16. Oh!
No! That's better. Okay. That's... Ugh. Not on the right side.
The good news I could give you is that $37.5 million is still in play.
That's good, yeah.
So, tonight's big offer is, well, the first one of the night, $1,065,000. Deal or no?
No. Never take the first one.
Yep. Otherwise, the no deal might have never aired the show if it went just like that.
Alright.
5 cases.
3, 5, 8, 17.
One more. 5 cases.
21.
Alright, number 3. 500,000. Number 5. Is there a penny? Nope, 1,250.
It's on the left side. We'll take it.
Oh, 20 million. 3,750.
On the left side. That's good.
And 250.
Yeah. That's
Okay.
nice. That's nice.
Alright, here comes the second big offer of the night. And it is $1,188,000. You don't know.
No.
I don't blame you.
Listen, for those of you wondering in my live chat, this is Big John's Deal or No Deal. One of those game show games.
4 more.
4 more. Oh gosh. I am 6. I am not going to pick that one. 12. 18. 24.
$6. $50.
Nice.
Number 12. 25 million.
Yep.
20. Number 18. 150,000.
Okay. Just a little better.
And 24. 10 million.
No! Oh! Sheesh. No.
You still have 15 million and 37.5 million in play. That's the news I can give you here. $1,943,000.
No, we're not taking it. We're not taking it now.
I don't blame you. Alright,
Alright.
3 cases.
11 and 7.
3 cases.
19.
Number $20,000.
Mm-hmm.
7.
Ooh.
Is there a
Please be left.
penny?
Please.
Okay.
Left side.
2,500.
Left side. I'll take that. I'll take that.
Okay. Next bank offer is $4,318,000.
1, 2, 3. No. No.
Okay. No deal.
Right.
2 cases.
$15 and 23.
Number 15 has 1,250,000. 15.
Oh, left side. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. So I've got 6 cases left.
Yes.
Let's take it.
More mouse on the left side and the right in play. The next offer, $6,413,000.
No.
No deal it is.
Am I giving you a heart attack?
I don't know. You never know in this game. One case.
Alright. Which one of these sticks out the most? Give me 22.
Okay.
I might regret this. Please.
$10,000.
Alright. That's good.
You're 1 case away for possibly making the board even if you decide to continue on and pick them out on the left side.
Let's see. 37. 5.
$7,573,000. Deal or no deal?
This is tempting. You know what? No, no deal.
No deal it is. Okay. What do you want to pick?
Okay. All right. Again, which one of these stands out? Huh. $26.
Okay. Please open the case. Here's the penny.
Yeah!
Now the board is even.
All right.
The board is now even,
All right.
and the safety net is still in play. With the next big offer, $10,822,000. Remember, the board is now even, and most importantly, $37.5 million is still in play. The question is, deal or no deal?
I have a number in mind. This isn't it. No deal.
No deal it is. What is that number in mind?
This wasn't the number in mind. It was more so what I was going to do had the banker offered me that number. But right now, out of 3, 10, 14, and 20, which one of these stands out the most? Do I want to do this, or do I want to pay tribute to your birthday, David? 1014.
It's your pick. $37.5 is your net money.
Alright. Thinking about it a little bit. 14. Give me 14. That one sticks out. I don't know why.
Please open the case. Unfortunately, that's out the board. But
I can't believe it.
$15 million is still in play, though. However, but $4,711,000. When you don't know.
No deal.
All right. $10 or 20.
10. Screw this. Let's
Please
just.
open the case. 37.5. The safety net is weighing on behind us, so be careful. 8,100,000.
It's more than half. No deal.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know why I did this.
We're now down to two cases. $500, $15 million. One case has one or the other. But there's one final offer. Want to switch cases? I assume not. I assume you want to pick the case.
I'm gonna keep.
Yeah, most people did not keep their case. But let's see
I can't look.
what number 13 has.
I can't look.
$15 million!
Wow!
We have a multi-millionaire tonight.
Wow! What was the most that?
$15 million.
What was the most you've the highest winner in the series so far?
I'll have to look back, but
Yeah.
$15 million. What a great way to end case here. And that's gonna wrap this up here on Few Knows for Chat Pod. Goodbye. Alright, that's going to wrap this up here on the 2000 Hangouts short episode But hey, it was a good one. I want to thank everybody for watching, and also to the people that we interviewed this week. Um, with my friends Chris, uh, Nick, and now Raw. So yeah, good 3 interviews this week, and I'm very proud of it. But with that being said, we'll be back here next week for the next episode of the 3000 Hangouts. So y'all take care and bye for now.